Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. I'm John Dickerson. 2 days to go until Super Tuesday, where there are primaries or caucuses in 12 states. And according to our CBS News Battleground Tracker, things are looking good for the frontrunners. In Virginia, Donald Trump is at the top of the Republican field with 40%. Marco Rubio follows him with 27%, and Ted Cruz is in third at 22%. Georgia is also showing 40% for Trump. Ted Cruz is running second at 29%. Marco Rubio is at 22%. But in his home state of Texas, it's Ted Cruz who is up by 11 points over Donald Trump, and Marco Rubio is in third with 19%. John Kasich and Ben Carson are both much further behind in those three states. We'll have more battleground poll numbers and results from the South Carolina Democratic primary coming up. But right now, we want to go to Donald Trump, who joins us from his home in West Palm Beach. Mr. Trump, I want to start with a tweet from you this morning in which you write, quote, "The Republican establishment has been pushing for lightweight Senator Marco Rubio to say anything to hit Trump. I signed the pledge. Careful." What does that mean?
Well, they're not treating me well. I signed a pledge. I've been very good. I've been very straight and honest and honorable, and they're not treating me well. You look at the way they stack the audiences and the debates, and I've won every debate according to every poll, every single online poll after the debate. But the way they stack the audiences, the way they talk, they have this lightweight Senator Marco Rubio saying terrible things, just personal terrible things. And I don't think it's fair the way that the establishment is treating Donald Trump. I'll be honest. And I signed a pledge, and I will, abide by the pledge unless they default. But as far as I'm concerned, they're defaulting.
So you wouldn't abide by the pledge right here, right now? You wouldn't abide by the pledge because you think they're defaulting?
Well, I think you understand exactly what's going on. You just pick up any paper, and it's always talking about how are we going to overthrow Donald Trump. I'm representing millions of people that have really feel angry and disenfranchised. And these are great people. And they like me, and I love them. And I'll tell you what, we're not being treated right. The Republican Party is not treating me right, and they're not treating the people that I represent right.
Let me ask you a question about this question of taxes. You're being audited. You said you won't release your returns. What about releasing a summary? That's sometimes what candidates do. It'll show your income, your charitable deductions, your effective tax rate. Would you do that?
Well, I've already done, I've already released my financials, which are, massive. And by the way, which showed a tremendous company. It's over $10 billion in net worth that I built with a very, very small starter loan years ago. And I've already done that, and that's down and filed in the Federal Elections Office. And if people want to go see it, they can see it. And obviously, all of your cohorts have gone through them in great detail. And I've been given very good reviews for what I've done.
What about a summary, though?
You don't learn very much from tax. Hey, John, you don't learn very much from tax returns. Let me tell you right now. But when you're under audit, you don't give your papers. An audit is, I've been under audit for so many years. Every year I get audited for, I think, over 10 years, maybe even 12 years. I've been audited, and I think it's very fair. And I think I'm being singled out, and it's not a fair situation. But the IRS audits me every year. I have friends that are very wealthy, and I said, you get audited? They don't even know what I'm talking about. They've never been audited. Why am I audited every single year? And until the audit is completed, obviously, I wouldn't show anything. I'll show it as soon as it's completed. I have nothing to hide.
What about?
Because, frankly, everything of real value, hey, John, everything of real value is in my financial disclosure form.
You said that in an interview with CNN after the last debate, you said you were being targeted maybe because of the fact that I'm a strong Christian. What does that mean? By the IRS?
It could be. I mean, it could be that. It could be because I'm a believer in the Tea Party. I love the Tea Party. I love the people in the Tea Party. I have a lot of different likes and maybe dislikes, and I don't know why, but why is it that every single year I get audited, and I have friends that are very wealthy and they've never been audited?
Let me add, would you produce the audit letter, by the way, in terms of those who are just skeptical that maybe this is just an effort to not release your tax returns?
I don't think I'd have a problem with that. I assume I can give you a letter from a big law firm saying that we're under audit. But I've been audited, and I'll let you know how many years, too. I've been audited for consecutive years, many, many, many years, and I think it's unfair. I always say to my people, how come I'm always audited and friends of mine are never audited? I think it's very unfair.
Let me ask you a question that's also been raised about foreign workers in Florida. The New York Times said there were people who wanted the job. You had said that basically only could find foreign workers because there weren't Americans who wanted the job. But the New York Times says there were people who did want to apply.
Well, they have to be qualified. It's at Mar-a-Lago. It's during the season when you can't get people. It's very, very hard to hire people, qualified people. And a lot of people didn't want the job because it's a 3 or 4 month job. You know, it's just during the season, we call it the hot season, the high season. And it's very hard to get people because it's just one of those things. I mean, everybody is working. And then during the off season, it's easy, but we don't have the people during the off season because the club closes during the off season. So a lot of people don't want a part-time job.
One of the things you're saying is that American corporations should come back to America, build their products here, have American workers. But why wouldn't those corporations say basically a version of what you're saying, is they can't find the workers here and they got to go other places? Why wouldn't they just say what you're saying?
Well, because they're full-time jobs. You know, when you're talking about that kind of a thing, you're talking about full-time jobs. A lot of the people that we've made offers to and where we make offers, when they hear it's a part-time job or it's a 4-month or 5-month job, and I understand this, they're not interested. They're American people, they're not interested. But what you don't talk about is the thousands of people that I do hire. I mean, I have thousands and thousands of people on my payroll. Over the years, I've had tens of thousands of people that work for me. I mean, you're picking up one club where it has a high season where it's very, very hard. I mean, it's very hard to get people in Palm Beach during the season, during the social season.
Michael Hayden, who's the former director of the Central Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency, said that if you ordered U.S. forces to kill the families of terrorists, which you've suggested, and also to use waterboarding, as you've also suggested, that they would refuse you. What's your response to that?
I don't know what he means by refuse. I can only tell you there's a lot of bad things going on. They're chopping off heads in Syria, and they're chopping off heads all over the Middle East. ISIS is doing a number, and plenty of other beyond ISIS is doing it now. And all I know is that when they start chopping off heads, we have to be very firm. We have to be very strong. We have to be very vigilant. And I heard his statement, and I disagree with his statement. We have to be very strong. Can you imagine these people that chop off heads of Christians and plenty of other people, and they do it routinely, and they drown people in big steel metal cages? They drown them. They leave it in for a half hour, and then they pull it up, and everybody's dead. When they hear us talking about waterboarding, I mean, give me a break. We have to get a lot tougher if we're going to win this war. If we're not going to be tougher, we're never going to win this war. This is only going to get worse.
All right, Mr. Trump, thanks for being with us. We'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much.